Rafe and I first met for lunch on the 31st of March, 1938. The story of how we got to that point was complicated, involving a ballet scenario that I had written that I hoped Rafe might set to music. In the end, nothing came of that, but that lunch was where it all began. I was 27 and he was 66. We were both married, I to Michael, an army officer, he to Adeline, a cousin of Virginia Woolf. Rafe collected me in a taxi from my parents' flat. I don't know which of us was more surprised. He had, it seemed, expected a sensible matron in sensible shoes. I had not expected him to wear a green pork pie hat such as I had only seen on cavalry subalterns. Nor had I think, expected someone so large and so beautiful. His voice, eyes, hands were somehow familiar, so that I felt I was meeting again someone I'd known before, and this recognition was the same for him. After lunch, we drifted into a cinema to see the latest Disney Silly Symphony, and we ended up sitting by the Serpentine and talking about madrigal poems. In the taxi back to my parents' flat in Gloucester Road, Rafe clutched me in his arms and gave me a terrific kiss. I said, "Well, I'm not used to this." He said,
"Well, you will be soon."
I was awake all night thinking about that kiss. Well, actually, those kisses.
7 o'clock. All night my heart has counted yesterday's kisses over.
He was very tall. And he was very beautiful. And he was perfect. Passionate man, absolutely no doubt about it. Passionate and erotic. I fell madly in love with him the moment I met him. Most women did.
There are no
He wrote me a long letter and sent me some volumes of Elizabethan poetry, but we did not meet again until May.
3rd May 1938. Dear Ursula, I shall be in London on Tuesday, and unless I hear, I shall call for you about 1 o'clock. Yours, RVW. P.S. I hope you will get this. You gave me rather a meagre address.
Would that love now given to me, unworthy, might find its own fulfillment in myself, that my soul be fashioned as the eyes of love would have me be, in body and mind. Would that love which in me lacks expression might speak in every gesture, every act. So should I be transfigured in those eyes, wherein I would appear most excellent.
Rafe and I lunched together and went to the British Museum. Walking through the Abyssinian galleries among huge man-headed bulls, he asked me if I was a Christian and seemed relieved when I said that I was not.
28th May 1938. Dear Ursula, I have got seats for Ballet Juice, Old Vic, Wednesday 8th. I do hope that is all right for you. Tell me where I shall find you. I finish teaching about 5 o'clock. I shall have to be in my day clothes, so will you be the same? I hope you won't mind. I believe I like you best as I first saw you in your short day frock, rather than full evening. But perhaps that would dazzle me even more.
I wrote, sending him a poem that said something of how I had felt completely changed since meeting him. When I unplait my hair at night, I touch it as a stranger might, remembering well that I of it and all my body have so slight a regency. And when on windy hills I go, the dead leaves rise and fall and blow between the stems from whence they fell. So soon my thoughts will be like these and know me infidel. He replied, ending the letter saying,
I loved having your poems. The one about the hair especially, but I am sending it back. Rather too personal to show around, though I like it, and your hair.
Kissing her hair, I sat against her feet, wove and unwove it, wound and found it sweet, made fast with her eyes, drew down her eyes, deep as deep flowers, and dreamy like dim sweeter than her face to me. Sleep of cold sea bloom under the cold sea. What pain could get between my face and hers? What new sweet thing would love not relish worse? Unless, perhaps, white death had kissed me there. Kissing her
I was fathoms deep in love.
January 1939. I tried to get you on the phone just now, but you were out. I've got 2 tickets for the EFDS ball on Friday, and unless you say no, I will come for you about 6:30, or earlier, and we will dine first. It starts at 8, Friday, Jan 6.
He took me to the EFDS ball, English Folk Song and Dance Society, and next evening to a party after a performance at the Albert Hall, in which everyone else there had been taking part. He was quickly settled into a huge sofa with several beauties squashed in each side of him, and became Uncle Rafe in tremendous form, telling stories and obviously feeling happy. It was apparent that everyone, men and women, loved him, and that immediately he arrived at a party, it lit up and took on a glow because he was there enjoying himself. It was enchanting to feel this warmth and affection filling the room, emanating from him and surrounding him.
As regards stockings, failing silk, I advise the ribbed kind. I noticed a young woman sitting down the other day, and the ribbed effect was very pleasantly accentuated the curve of the knee. But of course, a transparent silk, if you can be sure of no wrinkles, is the thing. This is a short letter, but I thought it important to discuss the stocking problem at once. All my love for the new year, RVW. P.S. I don't know about ribbed stockings to the touch. I never had an opportunity of testing.
I was now established in my flat in Bloomsbury. I had dinner with Rafe on the 6th of January and breakfast the following morning.
Walk softly where the sleeping beauty lies, beyond the roses, through the
beauty awake in the morn from beautiful dreams. Beauty awake from rest. Let beauty awake for beauty's sake. In the hour when the birds awake in the break, and the stars are bright in the west. Let beauty awake in the eve from the slumber of day, awake in the crimson eve, in the day's dusk end, when the shades ascend. Let her wake to the kiss of a tender friend, to render again and receive.
My dear, I will bring 2 and 6 along with me, but I want to know more details. A mere peck is only worth 1 and 3 pence. But was it passionate? If so, 3 bob. Was it intended as an epilogue to a comedy? In which case, 5 shillings. Let me know full details.
The breath and the bloom of the year in the back of one bee, all the wonder and wealth of the mine in the heart of one gem, in the core of one pearl, all the shade and the shine of the sea, breath and bloom, shade and shine, wonder, wealth, and how far above them truth that's brighter than gem, trust that's purer than pearl, brightest truth, purest trust in the universe. All were for me, all were for me. In the kiss of one girl.
Do you know the old saying that women should be divided into the high-heeled and the high-souled? You are both, my dear.
The Dorking Committee for Refugees from Nazi Oppression started work in December. Rafe was naturally one of the first people asked to join, and he took a full share of the work. He went to all the meetings, wrote many letters, raised money for particular cases, and visited frequently, usually once a week, the house which the committee had acquired to lodge some of the refugees.
October 1939. My dear, I never answered your last letter. I really have been rather busy with internees, evacuees, and lowbrow concerts for the troops. I wonder where and how you are. I am very well, and the carrots and the turnips flourish.
Rafe had taken to gardening with zeal and fury. He read books on the cultivation of vegetables, trenched, weeded, hoed, and spent a fortune on seeds and bottles of liquid manure to supplement the natural product, which he collected from the lane where cows passed up and down on their way to be milked, and sometimes horses on their ways to the fields for a day off. When a few hens were added to the establishment, their well-being became as great a concern as that of his cats. He waited on his hens with a tenderness and devotion to which they did not respond with the hoped-for lavishness of eggs. Rafe's carrots, though, had provided almost too many dishes. Many summer evenings had been spent in cutting them into presentable shapes, for they grew more and more mandrake-like, and Rafe thought they would demoralize the cook. The next letter was an invitation to come to spend the afternoon at the White Gates, where he and his wife Adeline lived in Dorking. Rafe took me around the garden and showed me the path he had made. It was extraordinarily peaceful.
Your hands I open in the long, fresh grass. The finger points look through like rosy blooms. Your eyes smile peace. The pasture gleams and glooms 'neath billowing skies that scatter and amass. All round our nest, far as the eye can pass, are golden king-cup fields with silver edge, where the cow parsley skirts a hawthorn hedge. 'Tis visible silence, still as the hourglass. Deep in the sun-searched growths, the dragonfly hangs like a blue thread loosened from the sky. So this winged earth has dropped to us from above. Oh, clasp we to our hearts for deathless dower this close companion inarticulate hour, when twofold
Take care of yourself, my dear, and write a lot more beautiful poetry, and keep your beauty. My goodness, what a wonderful thing to possess, to have beauty and to be able to make beauty. The Nazis can't destroy that.
Rafe came to London fairly frequently, and we were often able to meet for lunch or tea. Sometimes Rafe came to my flat, and this, of course, was much nicer, for I saved up rations and any special treats I found in the way of cakes or frivolities for him. He had come to lunch with me on the day a telegram came with news of my husband Michael's death. In those days of war, no death was totally unexpected, but a death like this from natural causes, he died of a heart attack, was a numbing shock, and Ralph's calm was more than comforting. He said at once,
"You must come home with me."
He took me home with him to the White Gates, contacting Adeline en route to let her know what had happened. Adeline had a bed made for me in the hall. She said, "We wanted you near us." She was very quiet and kind. I stayed for a week. It was then that I found I had become part of their lives, as they of mine.
Ursula has been quite wonderful. She has determined to make a new life for herself and not let the past take possession of her. I believe she will succeed. She has been down here to the White Gates twice now. She fitted in so wonderfully to our rather hugger-mugger household and did not mind having to sleep on the sofa in our rather crowded house.
Rafe suggested I should bring my writing into the study while he worked. I sat at the window seat, he at his desk, dashing to the piano every now and then, or stopping to say something about anything in the world, from weather for gardening to a curious technical point about film music, or cross-questioning me about what I was doing. It was a curiously successful arrangement, for we were easily silent together, or when one of us had something to ask, we did so without it disturbing each other.
Hands, give him all the measure of my love, surer than any word. Eyes, be deep pools of truth, where he may see a thought more whole than constancy. Heart in his keeping be at rest and live as music and silence meet, and both are
When the air raid started, Adeline insisted that I should put my mattress on the floor between her bed and Rafe's. One night, a buzz bomb fell very close. We heard it cut out, and we were all expecting to die. I remember that my skin felt like a tight dress, and was glad to be able to reach out a hand to Adeline and to hold Rafe's on the other side.
Sometimes she's a child within mine arms, cowering beneath the dark wings that love must chase, with still tears showering and averted oft von meinen Spirits hurting harms. I crave the refuge of her deep embrace. Against all ills the fortified, strong place, and sweet reserve of sovereign countercharms. And love, light at night, and shade at noon, lulls us to rest with songs, and turns away all shafts of shelterless tumultuous day. Like the moon's growth, his face gleams through his tune. And as soft waters warble to the moon, our answering spirits chime one roundelay.
I spent Christmas at the White Gates and found their quiet days by the fire with lots of reading aloud, hot water bottles handed round to everyone after lunch, log fires, walks, and no break in the routine of working hours, an admirable and happy pattern. Ralph was always concerned with the problems facing musicians. He had become president of the Committee for the Promotion of New Music when it was formed in January 1943. And though Ralph called it the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to New Music, and often found the discussions that followed performances very dull, he attended many of the concerts and gave the whole scheme wholehearted support.
Music is the one thing which defies bombs and blitzes. Music is the one thing which binds together those who live at opposite ends of the globe. Music is the one thing which makes friends of those who have never met, and perhaps will never meet except through the power of the greatest of the arts.
With his lute made trees and the mountain tops that freeze bow themselves when he did sing. To his music plants and flowers ever sprung as sun and showers there had made a lasting spring. Everything that heard him play, even the billows of the sea, hung their heads, and then day by in sweet music is such art, killing care and grief of heart. Fall asleep or hearing die. Fall asleep or hearing die.
May 1951. Dear cousin Randolph, Adeline died today in her sleep. It was not a surprise to me, as she'd been very ill for some weeks. I wanted to tell you before you saw it in the papers. Yours, Ralph.
When I went into Adeline's room the next day, taking flowers from the garden, she looked as fragile as the body of a small bird. Her early beauty, her lively mind, her austere discipline, her tenderness and edged wit had dissolved and left no trace on her face that lay between hyacinths and jonquils on the pillow.
Where sunless rivers weep their waves into the deep, she sleeps a charmed sleep, awake her loves. Led by a single star, she came from very far to seek where shadows are. Her morn, she left the fields of corn for twilight's cold and lone and water springs. Through sleep as through a veil, she sees the sky look pale, and hears a nightingale that sadly sings. Rest, rest, a perfect rest, shed over brow and breast. Her face is toward the west, the purple land. She cannot see the grain ripening on hill and plain. She cannot feel the rain upon her hand. Rest, rest, forevermore upon a mossy shore. Rest, rest at the heart's core, till time shall cease. Sleep that no pain shall wake, night that no morn shall break, till joy shall overtake
Rafe asked me to undertake the management of the house for him. My big difficulty was that the house was in the most fearful state. Walls peeling, paint round the windows rusty, all the linen in rags and so forth. It's quite understandable that it was so, as Mrs. V.W. didn't really see such things and didn't mind that much if she did. I can't bear to be like that, and I'm gradually tidying up.
Ursula helped me with the garden too.
You turn the turf with mighty spade, I'll follow with a fork, and so on till the tilth is made that we can stop to talk. And then let us improve the spring with liquinure and lime, not heed the silly birds who sing the joys of kissing time, nor heed the yellow celandine that opens to the sun. But will you be my Valentine when all the digging's done?
If I am dumb, my hands speak to the earth, the rain, the soil, the sun bring flowers forth. But I have set the vines and pruned the roses at my command, hedge beyond hedge enclosing, that glows on furniture and floors, the light that flows out into night comes from lamps I keep. I cherish odor from waking until sleep. No life can thrive without this simple bounty.
It's no good looking back, no good at all. I'm not going to be a hermit, so I go on with my work as usual, which is what she wants, I feel sure.
When we went to Worcester for the Three Choirs Festival, he murmured something about marriage. I felt that we were better as we were, that there was no need for him to make an honest woman of me, but it did add a glow to the day, a delight to our times together, a secret undercurrent to the parties to which we both went.
In January 1953, we went to a performance of Tristan und Isolde at Covent Garden. After sharing all that music of love, we knew that our half and half life seemed to reach its natural conclusion, and marriage was what we both wanted. We sent out a printed card to everyone. You will, we think, not be surprised to hear that we have decided to marry shortly. Our address will be as
for present,
till we find a suitable house. Please give us your blessing. No flowers.
Love from Ursula.
Rafe.
If I were a queen, what would I do? I'd make you a king, and I'd marry you. I'd make you a king, and I'd wait upon you. If I were a queen.
If I were a king, what would I do? I'd make you a queen, for I'd marry you. I'd make you a queen, for I'd marry. I'd marry you. If I were a king.
We were married a week before St. Valentine's Day, 1953. I remember the poem I wrote. We cannot wait, St. Valentine, to marry on your day. A week, we said, before we wed, a wasted week to stay. We could not do it, Valentine, but hasted us away to church and feast and bed.
and toys for your delight, of bird song at morning and starshine at night. I will make a palace fit for you and me, of green days in the forests and blue days at sea. I will make my kitchen, and you shall keep your room, where white flows the river and bright blows the broom, and you shall wash your linen and keep your body white in rainfall at morning and dewfall at night. And this shall be for music when no one else is near, the fine song for singing, the rare song to hear, that only I remember, that only you admire. And the broad road that stretches, and the roadside
When in my arms you lie, heavy with sleep, I am more content than a deep green river between high banks, moving certainly. water flows past, and I, to sleep drowned in green water, happily, deep in warmth, in sleep, and you asleep in my arms, contented lie.
Closed in your arms, all peace possessing. Sleep like darkness round us folding. Heart and spirit, you are holding, complete beyond all longed for blessing. Made whole at last, made whole at last, made What should this peace inspire? Oh, Felix! Oh,
We found the perfect house, 10 Hanover Terrace in Regent's Park, and there began the happiest years of our life. We had a lot of quiet days of work and concentration, a lot of sudden inspirational outings to operas and films, and the mixture worked beautifully as far as writing music was concerned. Rafe was full of invention, and new works were achieved in spite of the beguilements of London, which he enjoyed as much as I did.
I believe that all the arts, and especially music, are necessary to a full life. Music enables us to see past facts to the very essence of things. The arts are the means by which we can look through the magic casements and see what lies beyond.
The BBC was considering getting rid of its classical music station the third programme.
To the editor of the Times. Is it a question of finance? Has the third programme got to be a paying proposition? We do not apply that test to education, religion, or justice in this country. And does not our third programme partake of all these essentials? Is war a paying proposition? We spend millions of pounds every year in finding out how to kill people and in destroying all that many people think worth having in life. Is it not worthwhile to spend a small proportion of our wealth in increasing the value of our life?
Man makes delight his own. Endless creation of his labouring days captures for human terms all he has known. From far-sown grain his gathered joy has grown, and turned to sound or stone, perpetual and unchanged, forever stays.
I remember a great many years ago, early 90s, that the Strand magazine started the fashion of personal interviews and sent round a questionnaire to several eminent composers. Hubert Parry's reaction was, "I'm damned if I'll tell them, these fellows, whether my bottom is painted blue." I feel the same with the BBC snoopers, trying to get a factitious interest in my music by telling people what I eat for breakfast and what sort of lavatory paper I use. If my music cannot stand on its own bottom, I have no desire for it to stand on mine. I'm sorry, but there it is.
It was always quite impossible that Rafe and I should have a life together, and I feel in a sense that the gods had a bet on us. Let's see what happens to a person who has all they ever wanted. And I hope the test case will be a precedent for making them give the same riches to other mortals.
When do I see the most beloved one? When in the light the spirits of mine eyes before thy face their altar solemnize the worship of that love through thee made known. Oh, when in the dusk hours we two alone, close kissed and eloquent of still replies, thy twilight hidden glimmering visage lies, and my soul only sees thy soul its own. Oh, love, my love, if I no more should see thyself, nor on this earth the shadow of thee, nor image of thine eyes in any spring, how then should sound upon life's darkening slope the ground whirl of the perished leaves of hope, the wind of death imperishable
the last Valentine poem I wrote to Rafe. Since 38 or 39, you have been my Valentine. Each time I gave my heart away, I bring my heart again today. Take it, love, and keep it safe, green and gay and loving Rafe. Bless it too, St. Valentine, and make me his, and make him mine, so that our hearts always intertwine. Yes, these were the happiest years of our lives. One day at breakfast, Rafe suddenly came out with a rhyme.
Uncle Joe and Auntie Mabel fainted at the breakfast table. Children, let this be a warning. Never do it in the morning.
It was a lover and his lass with a hey and a ho and a hey noddy no.
The green cornfield did pass
In springtime, the only pretty ring time,
when birds do sing, ding-a-ding, sweet
lovers love spring. This tending and the ganata with a hey and a ho and a hey noddy no.
How that her life was but a flower in springtime,
The only pretty ring time,
when
when
birds
birds
do
do
sing,
sing, ding-a-ding, sweet lovers love spring. And therefore take the present time with a hey and a ho and a hey noddy no, for love is crowded with a rhyme in springtime, the only pretty ring time,
when
when
birds do
birds
sing,
do sing, ding-a-ding, 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 sweet lovers love the spring.
Cordelia, Adeline's sister, was most anxious for her friend, the sculptor David McFall, to do a head of Rafe, who strenuously opposed the idea. Cordelia persisted, and eventually David was invited to come to the house. Rafe told him that he must do his work while he himself was working. So David arrived with a bucket of clay and a bust peg for the first sitting on the 22nd of August. During the 5 days on which he came, Rafe told me that he had worked harder than usual himself.
I mustn't let the young man see me slacking.
It was a perfect arrangement, for David caught the private face, known to very few people, of Rafe absorbed in his work.
Bronze, where my curious fingers run, matching each muscle and each metal feature with life's austere structure of the bone. Each living plane and contour so well known, you will endure beyond the unchanged serenity, all that time gave him in your guardian care. His name is yours to keep, so will his glory be. Who are his only, his inheriting and when the hand that writes so ardently the sound of unknown sound reaches finality, the music captured, all the work well done. Stand in his place and bravely wear his immortality.
My dear, I have been reading the bronze poem again. I think it is beautiful. I am keeping it to myself for the present, but I don't see why I should. All love, RVW.
At the end of August 1957, we knew that Rafe had to have a major operation to remove a cancerous prostate. He insisted on taking the manuscript of his Ninth Symphony with him to work on, though I said that I doubted if he'd be allowed ink into the hospital. But I don't think the authorities had ever envisaged ink and a full score as a threat to their sheets, so there was no forbidding rule to be infringed. It was a long day when I was allowed to see him again. He was recovering consciousness in such a filthy temper that I began to feel reassured. Next morning, before 8, I was woken by the telephone. It was Rafe, asking how I was and how I'd slept.
I've just kissed the nurse goodbye. Where did you put my work? I may want it after breakfast.
I knew then that he'd make a brisk recovery. He started something by kissing all the nurses, who adore it.
Yes, there's no need to inquire about me in hushed voices.
Haim Alexander, a composer from Israel, came to see Rafe. He had some music with him, and the two shared the piano stool, going through the work contented and absorbed, breaking off only for tea. That evening, Rafe didn't want any supper, but by bedtime he was hungry and sat on his bed eating bananas and biscuits, and making plans to go to Walthamstow for the recording of his Ninth Symphony the next day. It was all very ordinary, usual, and like many other nights had been. And we did not guess that before dawn, death, not sleep, would claim him.
This is thy hour, O soul, thy free flight into the wordless, away from books, away from art, the day
Rafe died very early in the morning, and as simply and as quietly as he had lived, he slipped away, with his head on my shoulder and his hand in mine. I opened our window to the dawn, and after a time I played his pastoral symphony, and the music flowed quietly and serenely out into the still morning. And the house was full of roses brought by his friends, and there was a feeling of a birthday, a gentleness and lovingness that filled the whole place. The cremation was a putting away of beautiful clothes that cannot be used again, and there was a blazing and magnificent thunderstorm raging over the whole country, all as it should be. I took his ashes to Westminster Abbey, and they let me carry them myself through the cloisters, passing the graves of the Norman priors, through Poets' Corner, to the tiny early chapel of St. Faith, where they stay till the service on the 19th. For that, the music is some he loved best, and some of his own. And after it all, the Abbey bells will ring across London and across history.
Bright is the ring of words when the right man rings them.
Fair the fall of songs when the singer sings.